Grant writing. Writing the needs assessment portion of a proposal. Writing the needs assessment portion of a proposal requires citing data that describes the population to be served and the problem or problems that the proposal aims to address. This video is a general guide to writing this essential component so that it is clear to the reader why the community and problem of focus was chosen. Often step 1 is to describe the geographic location, name of the town, school district, or county to be served. Include demographic data, particularly anything notable that illustrates why the community of focus needs the program more than another area. For instance, you may wish to highlight high poverty compared to the state poverty rate, higher mobility rates, or issues related to the urban or rural nature of an area. Be sure to cite the source of any demographic data used in this section. Once you've established the community to be served, the next step is to describe the data sources that were used in the needs assessment, including when the data was reviewed and for what time frames. If you have not conducted a thorough needs assessment, it will be difficult to write a compelling argument in this section. If you are applying for a PCCD, Substance Abuse Education Demand Reduction, or SADR grant, or a Violence Prevention Program grant, or VPP grant, you will be required to note which Pennsylvania Youth Survey data was used. The next step involves describing in general what the data shows about the needs and strengths of the target community. This section can include snapshots from one time period, but it will be more powerful if you can show trends over time. It should also include comparison data from state or national sources in order to show the severity and build a strong case for why the community needs services more than another community. After this general overview of what was learned in the community needs assessment, the next step is to identify the specific problem that will be targeted for change, and which risk and protective factors will be targeted for a change. This section of the proposal should be as specific as possible, noting baseline data that can be tracked over time to assess if the proposed program has had the desired impact. Again, if you are applying for a SADR or VPP grant from PCCD for an evidence-based prevention program, this section will require noting risk and protective factors that were prioritized based on the most current Pennsylvania Youth Survey data for your community. Many funding announcements will ask you to demonstrate that there is a gap in existing services and programming to address the identified problem, and that other funding is not available for this service. This is a good place to include letters of support from key policy leaders in your community who can attest to these service and funding gaps. To recap, regardless of the many variations in what you will be asked to provide in a needs assessment or statement of problem section of a proposal, remember, this section should clearly answer two questions: why this community and why this problem?